Because there are lots of people in universities that use drones in all sorts of different areas, not just ecology. So in zoology, as we mentioned, there's a lot of drone use there. Also in volcanology, it's a really safe way of trying to collect gas emissions from volcanoes. So when...
Right, you can't like dangle a PhD student on a wire.
Yeah,
in a little test
exactly.
tube.
Exactly. You can't kind of go up there when a volcano is erupting and stick a test tube in and try and capture what gases are coming out.
Right.
And of course, these are things that people don't really know the answer to. I mean, what actually comes out of a volcano when it erupts? But
there's a reason people don't know the answer to them.
Because it's quite dangerous. But now you can fly drones through. And of course, you have quite a high mortality rate of your drones when you do this. But even if a few come out the other side, you've got an incredible data set.
Have you ever crashed a drone?
Yes, I have. Don't
worry, the person whose drone it was probably won't listen to this, so you're okay.
I hope not. I've never, I don't think, fatally crashed a drone. I have crashed some drones.
They're quite robust.
They're surprisingly robust, actually. I crashed a drone in the Arctic. Well, we crashed a drone in the Arctic against the rock face. And a few screwdrivers later, and a bit of DIY, and it flew again.
So there's a lot of people, you talk about DIY, there's a lot of people who are now sort of trying to DIY drones. So yes. they're actually quite simple. You've got, gyroscopes and so on. I'm not saying they're easy, but they're at a point now where people are, actually DIYing them and using them for filmmaking and so on. Yeah,
they're very simple constructs. I mean, you've got, when a quadcopter, which is a drone that has 4 propellers, you've got 4 motors. And to go forwards, it's just the back 2 motors work more, which pushes the drone forwards.
So drones, like, I guess the question I have is like, why now? Like, what's happened recently with drones as well? Mavic have got DJI, a company that produced loads of drones recently.
Yeah, they own the majority of the market.
Right. So, but that's a fairly recent thing. You sort of have YouTube coming up, and then YouTubers suddenly all start to have drone shots in all their videos. Like, why do you think it's all started to happen now?
I think probably because of how inexpensive drones have become. I mean, the DJI drones are incredibly good quality,
right,
and incredibly competitively priced. So drones aren't much more expensive, or they're quite comparatively priced to your sort of handheld camera that you might buy nowadays. Right. And they have similar quality lenses and similar quality cameras on them.
You can get a really good one for like under £1,000.
Yes, exactly.
The cheap ones, the little Spark, for like 500 odd.
Oh, the Spark's cheaper than that.
Is it? Wow.
100 or 200.
You need to get one.
So I think that's why, really. People have realized that for the same price as having a handheld camera, you could have a camera that flies.
So I work in batteries, and I think that I'm always like, yeah, it's because of the battery technology. And I think that's part of it, that they've, the energy density's gone up. You can power, as you say, you can make it fly for at least 20, 30 minutes of flight.
Yeah, so batteries is a big part of it. That's the limiting factor to drones at the moment.
Is the energy...
Yes, it's basically just trying to keep it up in the air for as long as possible, which is all down to the battery technology. I mean, the majority of a weight of a drone is its battery.
Right. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and the motors are quite heavy as well. Motors aren't light.
Yes.
But yeah, I think this is going to... of course, I love batteries, and then I think I reduce everything to batteries. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely the biggest problem with drones.
Yeah. Because
it's really hard to make something that flies.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of power to keep those propellers spinning around.
I was just reading about the Wright brothers when they started flying, and there was loads and loads of like really rich people who kept on trying to make things fly, and so they'd arrange huge audiences, and then they'd sort of try and fly, and they'd always employ someone to be the person that flied the thing. They never fly themselves. These things would just flop straight out of the air, or shoot straight upwards, stall, and then come straight back down again.
Yes.
So it's actually really difficult to make something fly. And drones, I guess, now seem so cheap and so easy. So do you see them still improving? Like, do you see drones as getting much, much better year on year?
Definitely. I think 2 issues, well, one we've already talked about is the fact that they do only fly for 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
It limits your image size.
Yeah, it massively limits your image size.
What is your image size right now, roughly? How many kilometers squared?
We don't talk in kilometers squared. It depends how high you fly, of course, because the higher you fly, then the more area you can capture. But then, of course, the lower your resolution is.
Yeah, and it's not is it area captured? If you flew really high, you can still only travel the same difference sideways, right? You're capturing more in a single image.
Yes.
But then I guess you need to fly really quickly, stop, take your image. Fly really quickly, stop.
Yes, exactly.
I'm trying to think this through.
So I can normally capture about a hectare, 100 meters by 100 meters in about 20-25 minutes.
Which is what used to take a team of tree climbers that you had on your roster.
6 weeks to
6 weeks to do.
To do, exactly.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And no one would ever think, oh, look, I've invented a drone. And then think, oh, you know what this is going to be really helpful for?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ecologists are kind of taking technology that's been invented for entertainment reasons.
Sure.
And applying it to...
For Attenborough to capture his leopard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other issue with drones is noise at the moment.
Yes.
So they're still quite noisy. As I'm sure if ever you've been on a nice walk in the countryside, yeah, and you've heard something that sounds like a swarm of bees.
That's the most beautiful. I was in Cornwall. Most beautiful picturesque sunset you've ever seen. Just sunsetting, everything orange. It's gorgeous. What do I hear?
Yeah, and I just recently did a study with a friend where we looked at the noise of a drone from different meters away from it. And we went up to how far away you're allowed to fly a drone away from you, which was about 120 meters. And then we compared the noise recordings to the hearing ranges of different animals. And even if you were to fly a drone as high up in the air as you were legally allowed to, practically every single animal would still know it was there.
Would still know it was there. Well, there we go. But it doesn't destroy your leaves as a helicopter would.
No, it doesn't.
And it's much better than a helicopter.
Yes, much more environmental.
And they go quite quick as well. They've got quite a clock to them, a drone. You can get them to go really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So where do you see, I guess, are there any improvements to a drone that would really make a difference to your research? Like, what would you, if you could envisage the next DJI, whatever, Inspire 7, what would you want it to have that it doesn't yet have?
Well, for my research, I'd like it to fly for up to an hour. And also, it's not so much the drone, but the camera. So at the moment, drones, we can hold cameras that maybe can capture 100 pieces of information. So most pictures...
And that's what spectral resolution?
Yes, exactly. So most cameras that you would use are RGB, red, green, blue, which is 3 pieces of information. And our cameras can go up to about 100. But of course, the more pieces of information you have, the more accurate you can make your measurements.
Right.
So if we
And spectral things aren't necessarily, they're often peaks, at least in, I'm not sure what it's like in the infrared. But
yes.
Am I right in thinking they're often peaks and not broad? They're
often peaks, and it's often very narrow peaks and troughs, which is what you use to make your measurements.
And the width of those peaks is useful as well.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the more pieces of information you had and the more accurately you could draw those peaks and troughs.
It's like if you just saw in black and white. If you just had like 2 data points, the world would be pretty weird.
Yeah. So I would say that the best improvement would be cheaper cameras that had more pieces of information.